to my podcast. Today I have a slightly different setup, and that's mainly because I'm using an external microphone. And when I was testing that on the sewing podcast in Dutch last week, it appeared that when I filmed downstairs in my living room, you could hear the cars from the street too much, whereas upstairs in my sewing/knitting room, it's better. So I hope this sound is good and that we can go on without doing this 3 times as last week. So welcome. Today I will start with what I'm wearing. So this is the zipper slipover from Petite Knit. I've made this, I think, September or October of 2021, and it was mainly because I wanted to use a zipper and I wanted to test that. And I didn't know if I would have enough yarn for the sleeves because this is acrylic yarn from my stash. It's really nice. I didn't know if I would wear it a lot, but I do wear it a lot actually. It's ideal to wear it at home because sometimes a knitted sweater, completely knitted sweater, is too hot to wear at home, whereas this is perfect. And I think I will wear it more in springtime to go just like for walking or hiking or biking or whatever, so I think it will be a staple piece in my wardrobe, especially because it's dark blue and it fits with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I love it and I'm happy I made it. At the end of the episode I will add some pictures of it when I was wearing it, so stay tuned for that. Then I go to finish objects, and the first one is a gift, so I don't have it with me anymore. I gifted it to my sister's son, so my nephew. He's almost 3 years old, and apparently he's really a big fan of the hat I have knitted him, and he wears it every day to go to school. So I'm really happy to hear that, and it's nice. It's the Manhattan hat of Tori Knits New York City. It's a test knit, so the pattern isn't released at this moment. It will be released on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. I will add it in the show notes and I will repeat it in the next episode to make sure that you know that it is released. It's a test knit of a very basic hat actually, but that was all I needed for him. He's almost 3 years old and I've made the child version for him. I met Gage and the measurements of my finished object are as they should be. And it also fits for his head. But his twin sister, who's also almost 3 of course, because she's 7 minutes younger, she doesn't fit in the hat, or the hat doesn't fit her, so she would need adult size S. It's also, if you take her measurements and you look in a table, you would definitely make a size adult S for her. So the measurements and what fits is correct. It's only if you want to make a gift for a child, please make sure that you know the head circumference, or that you ask the mom or the dad to measure a hat that fits the child. Because of course some kids have big heads, some have smaller heads, it all depends on the child. But I think it's slightly small for the children I know, because especially my nephew isn't a really big child. He's kind of small in my opinion. But yeah, I think if you measure it, it will be fine, because it's every measurement was right. The yarn I have used is annel Malmedy. It's a 100% wool superwash yarn. I think superwash is actually really handy for moms if it comes to children's hats, because I don't know if they have to wear it, if they wear it a lot, but if they wear it a lot, I think it will have to be washed a lot as well, because the children, they play, they do all sort of stuff, and I think superwash is then really handy. I didn't want to make something and then give my sister a lot of work that she had to wash it by hand or something, because with 2-3-year-olds, I assume she has better things to do than that. So that's actually the test knit. I heard from my mom, who picks up the children from school 2 times a week, that my nephew is wearing his hat every time since I gave it to him, and he really loves it. So I will make another one for his sister in the adult S size then, or maybe make another pattern. I'm not sure yet. I have to discuss this with my sister because she also wants the gray color for my niece. But yeah, we think it might be easier if it is another pattern, because then at school they would be it would be easier for the children to recognize their own hats, instead of accidentally taking the other one and then have a hat that doesn't fit the one, and another one that is too big for the other one, like just to avoid confusion. But I have to call my sister later today to discuss this with her. So yeah, this will be continued anyway. So that was my first finished object, but yeah, I didn't have it with me, but I will show pictures. I will post pictures somewhere here, I suppose. My other finished object is something I have with me. It's actually, oops, two at a time. Socks. I have finished the socks I have shown in the previous episode. It's a basic vanilla sock actually. I've used the Punto 34 from Lang Yarns. That's a book that features happily knitting and their patterns. It's basic pattern, a 1x1 rib for the cuff, and then a short row heel and Kitchener stitch at the toe. So it couldn't be more basic, I think. I'm still not really happy with the toe, although better than with the method I used before. The yarn is Tokyo yarn from Katia. I really love the stripes because I think it's really engaging to work with self-striping yarn, because you always want to see what's coming next. So I really love it. I've bought two more yeah, skeins of that with different colors to make in the future. It it was also I did wear them once last week, so I finished it at 11 a.m. and we went for a walk in the afternoon. I think it's really soft. It didn't itch at all, so I wasn't able to wash or block them. I wasn't able to block them anyway because I don't own sock blockers. But yeah, it was really nice. They are worn. They start to felt maybe a little bit at the heel, but that's normal even with store-bought woolen socks. I have that. So yeah, I love it. In 2022, I want to make one pair of socks per month, and then I will try all sorts of yarn and techniques, because I think I can use a lot of socks, because a lot of them that I bought in the store are now really getting worn out. So yeah, that's good to have them made by myself then. And that's also the case for my husband. So we'll make 6 pairs for myself and 6 pairs for my husband. And then at the end of the year, we'll look back and see which yarns I preferred, which techniques I preferred. So I would say stay tuned for more socks. Okay, and then up to the whips. It's actually also a sock, but, and in this English podcast I can talk more about it. In the Dutch one I just could show it without extra explanation. But this is the Tokyo yarn, again from Katia. And apart from the 6 pairs of socks that I want to make for my husband, I also want to sneak in a few for his Christmas present, and this is one of them. This is actually also another technique. It's a pattern I have used in 2021. It's from Wolplein. It's a knit along that's still available as a pattern. And for this one, I'm using for the first time a short circular needle, like one small tip and one longer tip. So I will see if I like it or not. The fact that I'm using this makes it really good for sneaky gift knitting, because you don't, yeah, it's easier to stop in between, in a round or something. So yeah, and I also like the self-striping part. I didn't have all the colors yet, so I'm looking forward to know the exact the exact stripes, but yeah, I like it. So early Christmas gift knitting, but I will keep you posted. This will not be featured in the Dutch one anymore because otherwise he would see it. Normally he doesn't watch the English one, so I hope it stays like that. Then another whip actually is this one. It's a new one. I haven't shown it as acquisition because like shortly after the previous episode I was accepted for a test knit. It's for the little knitter, her Evie Sweater, which is yeah, knitted on 7mm needles. So I have already gotten to finish the body, and now I have to start the sleeve. So the body was finished last night, so I hope to finish this in 1 or 2 weeks. It's a combination of Drops Nepal and Drops Kid Silk Mohair, which I really like. It's really soft, so I'm working on this to make sure that I can finish it quite soon. Although the deadline is only in March, I want to finish it the beginning of February to be able to wear this more. It's the first time I'm using a circular yoke, so really nice to learn that. It's with a double folded collar, and well, I used the super stretchy bind off for the hem. I don't really like it, so I wouldn't use that anymore for a hem, but well, it's there now and I don't want to take it out. It's an oversized sweater. It's something I'm not used to wear a lot, so I will have to look how to combine it with jeans, etc. But I'm planning when I finish it to show this in the podcast, but also to make an extra episode, especially a shorter one then, especially for this project. And then, yeah, after I have worn it, so that I can really give my opinion about it. So I would say keep following me and you will know more about it. Then another whip that has been featured before is my Biella from the Knit Purl Girl. I have made progress, so I only have to do one repeat before of the increases before I can split for the sleeves. I'm really looking forward to it because it's a more fitted garment and naturally that's more my style. So yeah, I'm looking forward to be able to try it on after I've split for the sleeves. So yeah, really looking forward to that. If that fits me really good, I might make more because it looks like it's a really staple pattern for my wardrobe. So yeah, I hope to finish it. I wouldn't say before the next episode because that ain't gonna happen on 3.5mm needles if you see all my whips, but it might somewhere be finished in February or March, so stay tuned for that. Then I have another whip from the Knit Purl Girl. It's a test knit for her new summer top, the Farfa top. I have seen this top in an episode of Hive Knits and Natters, where she interviewed Sophie of the Knit Purl Girl, and I was in love with that top. She was wearing it then, and I was saying, oh my gosh, I need that top. So when the test knit came, I was so happy that I was accepted. So yeah. It has some new techniques for me. It will need I-cord, etc. So that's new, but the Knit Purl Girl has such a good explanation in her patterns that I'm so, yeah, I'm convinced that I will make it. It's a new type of yarn as well. It's pure silk from Knitting for Olive. And this is the fabric it creates. I really like knitting with it. I'm using my symphony needles and it's really smooth to knit with it. I love it. I ain't got that far yet, but I will knit more this weekend on it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to try it on as well because I have no clue how the silk will feel when I wear it, how it will be like washing and drying, and if it will wear out soon or not. So I'm really yeah, looking forward to get to know this yarn better. It's from Knitting for Olive. I have ordered this at Knitting for Olive, their website. There are a few, not a lot of websites in Belgium that also sell it, but Knitting for Olive had more colors and it was cheaper. even when I had to pay for the shipping, because the shipping wasn't that much more than shipping in Belgium actually. So it was cheaper to order it from Knitting for Olive in Denmark, and I took, I think, 5 working days before I got it, so it wasn't that bad at all. And because it's quite a relaxed, well, I will have to knit a lot to finish it in time, but it's still quite a relaxing deadline, and it's not a deadline that I can't make, so that's also really nice. So thank you, Sophie, for giving me this opportunity. I also want to learn to get to know a lot of yarns this year, so you might see all different kind of yarns in the course of the year, because I want to get to know more types of yarns. I've knitted before, but I always use the same type of yarn, so now I want to explore more. So that is a whip. Another whip, but I didn't make a lot of progress, I must say, is, oops, it's stuck. Is this shawl for the hiberknitalong of Stephen West. I didn't make a lot of progress because I have all these other whips. I still like it, of course, otherwise I would strip it back, but it's just because I actually plan to make this for, to put this over this chair and then put it over my shoulders or over my legs during knitting at night, whereas yeah, this would also be used when it's slightly warmer, whereas my warmer sweater, like the Evie sweater, should be ready sooner because I want to wear it in the winter. It will be a really warm sweater, so that's why I shifted to that one first. And speaking of warmer things, I have started the blanket of Wool and the Gang. It's huge. I'll just show you the stitch pattern and the yarn. It's their crazy sexy wool. I love it. I love the fabric it creates. I don't really love the package because the needle that was there wasn't really good quality, so I will never take needles again. I would not really buy there again because of customs, but that's another story. So I have bought extra needles from Knit Purl. The advantage is that the cable is longer, so I don't have to make this in 2 parts. I can make this in 1 part, which makes it easier for me to knit this. So yeah, this will be continued. I'm looking forward to the moment where I have a blanket over my knees when I'm knitting this, so looking forward to that. I'm just looking around, but I think I have got all the whips, and I only have 1 project planned because I haven't even started all the projects I planned in the previous episode. But my idea is to have 12 pairs of socks this year, and next one should be for my husband. So it's this yarn from Lang Yarns, and I will try a toe-up sock because I think it's easier to have a toe-up sock, because then I would be able to use up all the yarn, because you can, you don't have to be careful and play yarn chicken on the toe. And I am also curious if I would love the toe more in a toe-up sock compared to a other type of sock. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So that is actually all I have plan-wise, but I also bought something. I bought a set of Haya needles. I haven't used them yet because they only arrived recently, but it's actually, indirectly, it's a gift from my grandma. My grandma gave me some money for my PhD, and first I just put it apart, but then I thought like it would be nicer to have a memory of my grandma and my PhD, so I decided to buy something, and I wanted to buy something that would last long. So I didn't want to buy yarn because if you make a sweater out of it and the sweater gets worn out. So I thought needles would be fine. These are lace needles, something I didn't have before. So it's something I could use. I'm really looking forward to try them and to tell you more about how I like them or don't, and compare them with my Knit Purl needles. So looking forward to tell you more about it. So that's all for knitting, but I do have some podcasts to yeah, to recommend. Actually, I have a very famous podcast actually to recommend. It's Penrose Knits Knitting Pickle. I really love that podcast. I also really loved her vlogmases. So I would really recommend her. I'm so looking forward to her new patterns. She has the souffles coming up, and I would like to make both the normal souffle and the chunky one. And the pattern I'm most looking forward to is the little sparks. So I might apply for tests, and I hope, Laura, that you pick me for one of them. But yeah, we'll see what it brings, and otherwise it will be for a next test later this year or next year. So I won't be mad if I didn't get picked, but I would love to, of course. So that is the English podcast. For those of you that might not have listened to the Dutch one but do speak Dutch, Winnie's Wool is also a really nice Dutch podcast, so you can go there if you want. Speaking of recommendations, I also want to recommend a shop. It's an online shop this time, Wolplein. It's a shop that I use when I need drops yarn actually, or my Knit Pro needles, cables, or whatever. It's a shop based in the Netherlands. I always try to buy local, but sometimes there is not a lot of stock in a local shop, and then I go there because they have a bigger stock. Like for example, for my Evie sweater, I have bought the kid silk mohair at Wolly Wonka, but the Nepal wasn't available in the quantities I needed it. So then I went to Wolplein, or I ordered at Wolplein. So that's most of the time how I do it. They are really fast at shipping. They have a lot of colors available. They have all the drops yarn because that is for local stores. Not all local stores here have drops. And I like drops because it's affordable. So yeah, I like Wolplein actually. So I think that is what I wanted to tell you today. If you like these episodes, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Um, I really like getting responses. You can react in yeah, underneath this movie or this clip, or you can just interact with me on Instagram. Um, I like both. Most of people actually interacted on Instagram afterwards, which is perfectly fine by me. I don't really think you have to respond underneath this video, but yeah, I would love to respond with you, correspond with you. So please leave me a message and let me know what you think about it. Bye.